Happy Pride, girls, gays, and theys, and all the book lovers in between. I am Brianna, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm glad you came back. And today, we are talking about J.K. Rowling nonsense again. God, that lady. All right, let's get into it. The evil Voldemort is at it again. And I said it last time that if you were supporting Harry Potter, you are funding her evil works. And she just, lo and behold, said it boldly with her chest. What did she say, you ask? Well, J.K. Rowling uses Harry Potter wealth to fund anti-trans organization. Joanne, I thought I already had this discussion with you. Are you just too busy licking the mold in your home? Baby, the only danger here is you. To my fellow trans brothers and sisters. But this woman is so rich, so wealthy, that she's able to use her own money, is able to fund this organization where she feels she is protecting women from trans folks. The fund is open to people or groups based in the UK or Ireland, with the eligibility checklist asking questions like, has your capacity to earn a living been affected by your beliefs about biological sex being unchangeable? Have you been forced to adopt policies regarding female-only spaces, safeguarding personal welfare or employment that you fundamentally disagree with? And does your organization campaign for women's sex-based rights, or has it been forced to adopt policies regarding female-only spaces or trans inclusion that you fundamentally disagree with? This is what I imagine her to look like and sound like. Oh, so much hate. And this is just her ongoing rhetoric. Just on and on and on that she's continually done. It's obnoxious. And it's not the only group that she goes after. She decided to have a go after my community on International Asexuality Day in April, where she said this, if we all remember this wonderful tweet: Happy International Fake Oppression Day to everyone who wants complete strangers to know they don't fancy a shag. Joanne, I hate you so much. And I will never read any of your trash again. And this is coming from a person who has read Harry Potter almost 10 times. The entire series. And I will never again. I don't own it. I'll never own it. I'll never buy your crap again. And no one should. Get rid of it. Don't even buy it used. Nothing. Like, let it die. All of these works that are coming out this summer that were fanfic and is now using her as a way to market it, also disgusting. So, today, I am going to go over all of the books that I have in my collection that are ace-oriented. I sadly need to expand my collection of books that are trans-oriented. So please leave those suggestions for me down below. But going through my library, my personal library, I have quite a few books that I want to suggest for you this Pride Month to expand your LGBTQIA plus library, and to celebrate Pride. And specifically, I am celebrating Ace Pride because I am Ace, and I don't give a flying fuck what Joanne says. I'm not made up, and I'm not just telling people I don't fancy a shag. It's far more in-depth than that. I am valid, and Joanne can go sit and spin. So let's get into some really freaking amazing books, shall we? Some of which... Okay, so I have romance, fantasy, horror, nonfiction, and just miscellaneous. So let's start with the miscellaneous because that's what I have the least of. So first up, I have Wild Aces by Amanda DeWitt. And this is a YA Ocean's 11 type book of a group of ace individuals who break into a high-stakes gambling club. This is on my TBR, and I've had this for a hot minute, but it sounds like a really, really good time. Another one that I have, this one is in the miscellaneous. It is an anthology of being ace, and it says, discover the infinite realms of asexual love across sci-fi, fantasy, and contemporary stories. This one I'm actually really looking forward to read, and I didn't originally have it on my Pride TBR, but I might have to add it to my Pride TBR. Talk nonfiction, because that is also a short list that I have. So first up we have Ace Notes, and this is by Michelle, I cannot pronounce that, and I don't want to butcher it, but this just goes over various aspects of being ace. So coming out, explaining it, how to identify, low-key ways to show your ace pride. It goes into a lot of various things, and when I was reading it, obviously I've tabbed it. And this is one that I just come back to when I want to read various things in it. And then there is Ace, What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society, and the Meaning of Sex by Angela Chen. This goes over a lot of topics as well, similar to Ace Notes, but on in a different way. Next up, we have a selection of horror novels that feature ace characters. First, we have a YA selection, which is Sawkill Girls. And this is about 3 girls who are referred to as the Sawkill Girls. And one of them is particularly an African-American asexual woman who is also trying to manage a relationship, and where girls have been disappearing for decades, stolen away by ravenous evil no one has dared to fight until now. And then we have one that I have had on my TBR since last year that I'm hoping to get to this month, which is Chuck Tingle's Bury Your Gays. And this features a gay asexual lead protagonist, where he's in Hollywood and they want him to kill off his gay lead character, and he refuses. And then from there, I don't know what happens. That is what really intrigues me about this, so we will have to see what happens. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty, like, this is all my fantasy, and this is all my romance. And majority of these, and the fantasy-wise anyway, a lot of them I didn't know they had asexual representation when I bought them. Some of them I did, but some of them I didn't. So first is Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosie Thor. This is a YA sci-fi fantasy set in the future in space. I've heard mixed things on this, but it seems cute, and I'm interested in what this story says. So next we have Bella Revolte by Lindsay Miller, and this is about two teen girls, Emily and Annette, who swap lives to pursue their dreams. And Emily is a noble woman, and she wants to be a physician. And Annette is just common, and she's like, I hate my life, and wants to be trained in magic. And when their nation instigates a war based on lies, these two have to work together with a rebellion to expose the truth and prevent further conflict. This one sounds really, really cool. So I'm really interested in getting to this one as well. I've had this for a while. That's nothing new, though. Next up, we have one more YA novel called Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. And this is a dark fantasy novel centered around Kaimei, who is a soul walker. And she can enter people's dreams. And in their dreams, a black door exists. But her mom warned her, don't ever open the door. And when her mother is murdered, she's driven by grief and vengeance, and she opens the door. And inside, she encounters a half-human being, and it spirals from there. And we'll just leave it at that. But it sounded really interesting when I was researching Ace books a few months ago that I really, really wanted to get it. So, speaking of Ace books I researched a couple months ago that then led me to getting it was Kai by Vaishnavi Patel. So Kai is a retelling. It reimagines the Ramayana from the perspective of Queen Kai. And the main character is Arrow and Ace. And this story follows Kaikei's journey from childhood as a princess of Kaikeya to her role as queen of Kosala. I hope I'm saying these right. I apologize if I'm butchering these words. Kaikeyi, though often portrayed as a villainous stepmother in the Ramayana, is presented here as a complex woman navigating the world of power, destiny, and prophecy. So it sounds really cool. A big one. That is a chunky beast. But sounds really awesome, and it's like this diverse book. So I'm really interested in reading that. So we have two more in my fantasy collection. The next one is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. So in this one, from what I understand, because again, this is on my TBR. In this one, it doesn't come out and explicitly say that he is Ace, but it says it in the second one. But this is about two friends turned enemies. And Victor and Eli started out as college roommates, brilliant, arrogant, lonely boys who recognized the same sharpness and ambition in each other. In their senior year, a shared research interest in adrenaline, near-death experiences, and seemingly supernatural events reveals an intriguing possibility that under the right conditions, someone could develop extraordinary abilities. But when their thesis moves from academic to the experimental, things go horribly wrong. It just sounds really, really cool. And I really like V.E. Schwab. Addie LaRue, obviously. I'm going later this month to see her about We Bury Our Bones. And I'm getting a signed copy. It's going to be just cool to see her. And lastly, we have one by T.J. Klune, In the Lives of Puppets, which this one, it says, is inspired by the adventures of Pinocchio and the Swiss Family Robinson. In the Lives of Puppets is a masterful and heartfelt fantasy adventure Here, even a family assembled from spare parts might become whole. And I got this one off of Pango for a really good price. Because look how pretty this is. And it's signed. How cool is that? It's like this. It's just a gorgeous book. And I have read The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune. That was a really, really good book. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Whew! Dang. Down to the last few of my collection. Let's do this. Now we have my romance. So, let's start with the two I've actually read. Wow, out of all of these, I just realized I've read 3.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Don't have a problem.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
First 2 up that I have read, particularly since I filmed my last video, are 2 by Claire Kahn, which I adored both of these. We've got Looking for Love in All the Haunted Places and The Romantic Agenda, both of which I thought were really, really cute books. I think out of the 2, though, this one was my absolute favorite because there are parts in here that absolutely represent to me, like, it's like she wrote it down on page what it is to be asexual. Ugh. It's like she took it right out of my mind and put it on paper and was like, this is what it is. This is how Brianna feels about being asexual. Here you go. So, both of these are fabulous. Okay, so this one is about Lucky, and she has this ability where, like, she can read people, like, psychically, and she is a paranormal investigator, and she teams up with, like, this paranormal investigative team to investigate this house. And through this process, she meets, what is his name? Maverick. And they began to fall in love. And through that experience, there's a lot to it. Like, this book is very complex. You wouldn't think it was, but it was very complex. And it navigates what it's like to be in, like, starting a relationship with someone who is just straight versus someone who is ace. So, then we have The Romantic Agenda. And this follows Joy, who works hand in hand with her best friend, what is his name? Malcolm, and has since college. And she's been in love with Malcolm since college, who is also ace. But has she told him? No. And she gets roped into going on this getaway with him and his new girlfriend. And the girlfriend is also bringing her friend. And in the intention of, like, setting them up together. And so they go with it. They fake date. And then, of course, where does that lead? But I thought this was really, really good. And I'm doing a vlog for Pride Month where I'm reading just LGBTQIA plus books in general. And this was one of the ones that I read for that. So I'll talk more in depth about that in that. Now we have several that I have not read, but am looking forward to and found through my research for my last video. So first we have Solitaire by Alice Oseman. She writes all of the Heartstopper series, which I adore. And so I got on Pango and I found that the other 2, like the Heartstopper novels, This Winter and Nick and Charlie. And they also had this. And this is about Tori, who is the sister in the Heartstopper novels. It's just so, like, because in the book, you follow along in one of the volumes where she's kind of figuring out that she's ace, but it's kind of like a side story. That's this one. Then we have, okay, so this one is Demisexual Representation, which is in the ace spectrum, and that is Morbidly Yours. And so this is, what is her name? So this is about Callum and Lark. And Lark loses her husband. He passes away, and so she moves to Ireland and ends up being neighbors with Callum, who is set to inherit his family's mortuary and cemetery and all that. Basically the family business. But, of course, there's the will stipulation where he has to be married. Well, he is demisexual, and so that's been a little bit difficult for him, and Lark is like, I got this. We'll find you a wife. I bet she's going to be the wife. Bet you anything. But this looked really cute. Everyone was talking about this last October, so I don't know if I'm going to save this for spooky season or if I'm going to get to it before. Because for me, spooky season is a state of mind, not a time of year. So then we have an indie author and an indie novel, which is Ace of Hearts by Lucy Mason. This is, I did talk about this a little bit in my Pride TBR video, but this is about Hesper. Still can't get over that name. Hesper and Felix. And Felix is like a pro footballer, I believe, but he gets injured. And they've been friends forever, and so he moves in with Hesper. And of course, they start to develop feelings for each other, but Felix doesn't know Hesper's ace. And so, of course, she's going to have to explain that to him and all that that entails. It says, it isn't supposed to be complicated until they fall in love for real. Oh, because he has a scholarship. I don't read the back very closely. When Hesper reveals that she's asexual, Felix must reassess everything he thinks about love and ask himself what he's willing to sacrifice for a future with Hesper, before the past she spent her life running from can take her away from him forever. It sounds really cute. And then I have one last book that is a young adult novel, and that is Letters for Joy by Melissa C. And this is about Joy, and it says, Joy is too busy overachieving to be worried about relationships. She's determined to be Caldwell Prep's first disabled Victorian, and she only has one person to beat, her academic rival, Nathaniel. But it's senior year, and everyone seems to be obsessed with pairing up. One of her best friends must be developing feelings for her, and the other uses Caldwell's anonymous love letter writer to snag the girl of her dreams. Joy starts to wonder if she has missed out on the quintessential high school experience. She's asexual, but that's no reason she can't experience first love, right? She writes to Caldwell's Cupid to help her sort out these new feelings and, over time, finds herself falling for the mysterious voice behind the letters. But falling in love might mean risking what she wants most, especially when the letter writer turns out to be the last person she would expect. Which we all know is probably Nathaniel. But that sounds really cute. Again, this was one I found while doing my research for my last video of asexual representation in books. Now, of course, there are so many other books that I didn't speak about today. So many that I spoke about in my last video. It's not well recorded. The sound was horrible. I was new to microphones and such, so pardon that if you do go watch that. But all of these are really fantastic books. I can't wait to read. But I'm really excited for all of them. I never miss an opportunity. If I find a book that has asexuality rep, I snag it. If I can, I want to read them. Representation is so important. Like I said previously, my collection is sorely missing trans representation in my LGBTQIA+ section in my library. So please leave me those recommendations down below if you have them. I would love to know in that area what you're reading. Also, have you read any of these books or any of these on your TBR that you want to read? Let me know. And if you liked this video, like this video. If you like this kind of video, smash that subscribe button, stick around. I'm having a great time doing these, and I just love sharing about books. And on that note, I will see you next time. Bye, guys.